The neon sign outside Murphy's Roadhouse flickered like it was debating whether to stay alive for one more night. It buzzed against the chilly wind, casting red light over the parking lot full of rumbling Harleys, chrome shining beneath the street lamp like teeth in the dark. The bar wasn't the kind of place you step into unless you knew someone inside or were brave enough not to care. Tonight, one man definitely didn't care. Marcus Turner paused at the door just long enough to smell the whiskey-soaked wood and hear the loud, rowdy laughter spilling out. The kind of laughter that meant someone inside had already had too many, and the night was still young. He brushed a bit of desert sand from his jacket sleeve out of instinct, a habit left over from a life spent in places far more dangerous than this. The army didn't raise cowards, especially not in Marcus's unit. He rolled his shoulders, straightened up, and pushed through the door. The music hit first. A gritty guitar riff screaming out of old speakers, drowning in jukebox static. The second thing he noticed was silence, sharp and sudden, as eyes turned toward him. The entire bar seemed to pivot on its stools to stare at the newcomer, a tall black man with a confident walk, a clipped military haircut, and a jacket with a service patch carefully sewn on the arm. His presence didn't match the familiar faces in the room, most wrapped in leather vests with skull patches and Confederate flags stitched proudly like heirlooms. Marcus gave a nod to the room. Evening. No response. Just the scrape of a cue ball on felt and some murmured whispers under breath. The bartender, a rough-bearded man with arms like tree trunks, folded his hands over his chest and stared. Marcus wasn't here for drama. He was here for a drink. A night off. A minute to breathe. He hadn't stepped on US soil long enough to unpack, and his unit had scattered to see their families, girlfriends, and hometown hangouts. Marcus didn't have much of that. A few brothers still deployed, a mother he barely spoke to anymore. Home didn't feel like home. Not yet. So, he drove until the road decided for him, and it dropped him in front of Murphy's. He made his way to the bar, pulling a stool out with a scrape that sounded too loud in the tense room. He sat, resting his hands casually on the counter so everyone could see he wasn't here to make trouble. Whiskey? Neat. His voice carried confidence wrapped in calm. The bartender didn't move at first. His eyes traveled from Marcus's face to the army patch. Suspicion twisted his features. You lost, soldier. No, Marcus smiled with an easy charm that had disarmed far tougher men overseas. Just thirsty. The bartender grabbed a glass with a grunt and poured a shot. The liquid splashed with a bit more force than necessary, droplets sprinkling the counter. Marcus ignored the disrespect and lifted the glass, inhaling the familiar burn before taking a slow sip. That was when the first biker made his move. A hulking man with a shaved head and tattoos carving across his arms swaggered over like he owned the floor he walked on. The others watched, smirking, waiting. He leaned in close enough that Marcus could smell stale cigarettes on his breath. We don't get many of your kind in here. Marcus set his glass down gently, as if handling something fragile. People who like whiskey. Smart mouth. Figures. The biker bumped him with a shoulder. I meant soldiers. Thought you boys were too busy playing hero to drink with regular folks. Marcus weighed the man's intent. Aggression. Insecurity. Maybe boredom. He wasn't interested in any of those. I just came from a place where bullets fly for real. Trust me, I've done enough hero work for a while. A few bikers snorted. The music, the only thing holding the moment together, clicked off as the song ended. An uncomfortable silence replaced it. The big guy tapped the patch on Marcus's jacket. This doesn't make you special here. Marcus raised a brow. Never said it did. The biker's lip curled like a dog ready to bite. Then take it off. The room shifted. Chairs squeaked. Someone muttered, teach him, from the back. Marcus could almost feel the tension bouncing between the walls like a rubber band stretched too far. He stared straight ahead, voice cool as a winter breeze. That patch means my brothers and sisters bled next to me. It stays on. The man slapped the drink off the counter. The glass shattered, whiskey splattering across Marcus's lap like spilled gasoline ready for a spark. Laughter erupted, ugly and loud. Marcus didn't react. Not yet. The military trained him to handle worse humiliation without blinking. The real threat was on the horizon, and he knew better than to strike first in a room like this. Shaved head biker leaned closer. You got two options. You walk out now like the good obedient soldier boy you are. Or we make sure you crawl. Marcus finally turned to face him fully, his gaze locked and unbothered. There's a third option. You get out of my face before I decide to introduce your teeth to that pool table. A low whistle came from somewhere. The amusement of the room twisted into surprise. Someone stood up to see better. The bartender took a cautious step back. The biker's eyes widened in disbelief for a heartbeat and then hardened into something dangerous. He reached for Marcus's jacket like he was peeling a sticker off a bottle. That was the wrong move. Marcus caught the man's wrist mid-grab. There was no hesitation, no pause, just fast, precise force learned in desert combat and perfected under fire. He twisted the wrist downward, applied pressure, and within a second, the biker was on his knees, gritting teeth against the pain. The room exploded. Stools fell over. Boots pounded against the floor. Two more bikers rushed Marcus from behind. He pivoted, releasing the first attacker just long enough to block a punch with his forearm and slam his elbow into the second biker's ribs. The crack of impact echoed off the wooden beams. The third biker swung a bottle. Marcus ducked, the bottle smashing against the bar in a spray of glass and foam. He grabbed the attacker's vest and flipped him over the counter like luggage tossed onto a conveyor belt. It all happened in seconds. Then it stopped. Every biker froze, forming a loose ring around Marcus, who now stood tall, breathing steady, his stance balanced and ready. He had not drawn a weapon, not even clenched a fist longer than needed. He didn't fight like a bar brawler. He fought like a man molded by military discipline, efficient, fearless, dangerous. The shaved head biker groaned on the floor, massaging his wrist and glaring with humiliation that burned hotter than any bruise. Marcus blew out a slow breath. Anyone else dying to get folded tonight? No one moved. The bartender watched, stunned. That was when a gravel-deep voice rose from the back. That's enough. The crowd parted. A much older biker walked out, boots thudding like judges' gavels. Gray streaks threaded through a thick beard. His jacket bore more patches than the others combined. A president patch. The leader. His solemn eyes took in the scene, broken glass, groaning men, a calm soldier standing amid the chaos he didn't start. You army? He asked. Yes, sir. Where'd you serve? Afghanistan. Twice. Lost good people both times. The old biker nodded once, his jaw tightening. A flicker of respect crossed his weathered face. I was in Desert Storm. He turned to his men, voice booming. All of you, back off. The bikers hesitated, but one sharp glare from their leader sent them scuttling away like wolves warned off by the alpha. He stepped closer to Marcus, offering a hand. You handled yourself well. Proud of your service. Marcus considered the scene a moment, then shook his hand firmly. Appreciate that. The leader looked at the bartender. Get him another drink. On the house. And clean that damn mess. Then he leaned in toward Marcus, lowering his voice. You ever run into men like them overseas, soldier? Marcus nodded. Every day. Same here. The man grunted. War makes fools out of cowards. You walked into a den full of them tonight. Marcus chuckled lightly. I noticed. The leader clapped him on the shoulder. You got heart. This place may not feel like home. Doesn't always feel like home to us either. Stick around tonight. You earned your seat. Marcus looked around. The energy in the room had shifted. The hostility. Gone. In its place, curiosity. Respect. Even admiration.